Hey guys, my name is Kevin and today I will bring you my true Draco Eldlich deck profile. I thought this deck is very fun and I thought it's something different to play in the meantime when like Diatron and Witcher World are meta, and I wanted to play cards that aren't really like you can't hit them really well with the meta right now because they try to stop you from special summoning or to activate monster effects, and in this deck the monster effects aren't really that important, or you can at least play around. So I thought this deck is very fun. First I thought playing Eldlich Sky Striker because it topped, but I found out that this deck isn't really working good for me because it could be that I'm just too bad for it, or I just don't get how to play it. Then I don't have access code talker, so maybe that's also a reason why, because often what I saw is like you make access code talker and banish all 4 Sky Striker monsters from the grave to pop everything and then OTK. This is also one thing I couldn't do, so yeah, I just thought I can switch it, and I thought of the perfect synergy between those two engines, because on the one hand the Draco engine can make like really well first turns, and the Eldlich engine can grind really well. So and there are no restrictions in themselves, so you can't only special some Eldlich or zombie monsters with the Eldlich engine, but you you just like play true Draco who are only normal summon reliant. So yeah, you can just play around cards like this. How is it called? The Vanity's Ruler or the barrier statues. So yeah, it's perfectly fine, and even then it's wind. So yeah, this is the deck how I played it yesterday at our locals. So I will do a quick rundown later how it worked for me, but I will say in the deck profile what I would improve and what I will cut and maybe do different, because I just threw the deck together like I thought could work, and yeah, now I'm like in the improving phase. So check, I will do a better deck, or I will do a more improved deck profile later after our next locals when I will play it again, I think. So yeah, let's start with deck profile how it is. I play a 46 card main deck, which is really much, but there are like 2 big engines in it, so you have to play a little bit more, but you can draw a lot of cards, so it's fine. But yeah, I would still try to improve it and put it on a lower number, maybe 43 or 44 or something. But yeah, to Eldlich, normally this is enough. I found myself in a situation yesterday where both of those got banished in like with 2 DD Crows, which was really hard to play afterwards, because then basically all your Eldlich engine is shut down, and I had a lot of Eldlich cards in my deck still left. So yeah, I just used them for Draco tributing. I mean, I still like managed to play the game very fairly, but it was a really tough one. I had to top deck like thrice really well with Pot of Extravagance and Card of Demise, otherwise I would have lost. So yeah, it was really hard. So I thought of playing 3 right now, but I think 2 is a good number. I only found myself once in this situation, and yeah, I think this never happened really well or really often. Then for true Draco monsters, I play 1 Majesty Maiden, 3 Ignis Heat, and 1 of the Dynamite. This is a pretty good ratio, I think, because this one searches everything else. This is the most important one because this gives you the most advantage, and it's at 1, so I would have played a 2 or 3 if this one if you could play more of those. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. The Draco traps are like the best interruption you can build, or one of the best interruptions you can build first turn, even though your Eldlich cards are like good, but like DB Grinder said, the Eldlich cards themselves don't do really much, so you have to play cards to surround them and to help them play. But if your engine gets running and you like go to a simplified game states, the Eldlich engine always wins. So yeah, I considered, because I found myself in a situation often where I couldn't special summon the Lord because of restrictions, that I played 2 Majesty Maiden because you want to draw a true Draco card. Yeah, sadly the diagram is at 1, so if it would be a 2 or 3, you could like even cut 1 Ignis Heat and just play 4, but yeah, it's not really possible. So maybe I will play 1 more of this, because the cards are good and you can just tribute Eldlich cards. For the spells, like you see, I play no hand traps in the main deck. Yeah, for the spells, I just put this away. I play 3 Heritage and 2 Disciples. This was a perfectly fine ratio. I just used those to shuffle those one back and just like recycle the other one. This worked perfectly, so I wouldn't change this ratio. Then for draw cards, I play like 1 card of Demise, which is like amazing. Then 3 Pot of Extravagance. Yeah, I think you have to play them. It's they're your draw cards. Yeah. Then I played 3 tactics talents. I don't know how it's called in English, but yeah. I played this card because I got it borrowed, and I wanted to play it at least if I could borrow it for 1 week. It would have won me a game if I played it correctly. I lost like 2 games where I just played falsely because I didn't know really well how this or how to get more advantage in the first like 2-3 duels. So yeah, it was. I only drew it twice, and I like only did something once. So I would cut it. It's just not really necessary to play, and not worth the money for playing this deck. So yeah, then I play the one terraforming for the diagram. I forgot to put it to the 2 Draco cards. You wanted to get to this one. I only got it twice, and once it got Cosmic Cyclone. So yeah, like it was hard to play afterwards, but I still won. And the one time I got through, it was like insta win. So really broken card. And even if you like activate this and you draw this card later on, you can just get rid of it with Eldlich or your Draco cards. So yeah, normally with Eldlich, not your Draco cards, but yeah. I played 1 Called by the Grave because it's like a really good hand trap stopper. Some guys play Droll. Droll's pretty good hand trap against this deck. I just want to play something. If I draw it, I draw it. If I don't draw it, I don't draw it. This is also really good for cards, for example, like Ben 10, like some graveyard effects, Prankets, etc. Sadly, our locals are like changing every week, so I can't really prepare really well. I prepared for meta decks, and I only played like 1.5 tier decks 2 times, and 2 times like tier 2 decks. So it was my side deck was literally not good against like rogue or not meta decks, but yeah, you can just, the side deck is only for the tournament. Ja, ich glaube nicht so stark zumindest, also ist okay. Ja. Yeah. You could cut it. You don't really need to play it. It's a good one-off, but yeah, you don't have to play it. Then I played 3 Eldland and 1 Elixir of the Black Awakening. Or Dark Awakening, I'm not sure. So Eldland, mandatory, self-explanatory. This one I tried it out because I had it here. I don't think this is really necessary. It only like put me once to a +1 advantage, but yeah, like I said, it's only 1 time, and in the grind game you often like special summon both both lords of your traps, and then you can't really use this anymore because you're not wanting to get it like to hand, stay there, and then activate this to like how I say, to special summon from hand, because it has no ATK boost. The only real reason to throw it away is for the graveyard effect. Just set it and then activate this directly, because you can do it in your main phase. But I would change this to the quick play spell. I don't know how it's called, white something. So I would just change it, and then it's more budget. So yeah, I wouldn't play it anymore. To the traps, starting with the Eldritch traps, I played 3 of the Scarlet Sanguine. I played 3 Conquistador, and then like a little bit different. Now the most of you play 3 Haquero, but I played only 2, and then 1 of the Guardians. This deck can't out Dragoon except with Talents and Guardian, and though I would cut the Talents, I need a card you can search which can out Dragoon. The problem is if they know this and they know you can't out it except with this card, they like hold the Dragoon negate. Yeah, it's like it's pretty hard to play against Dragoon, so you have to play something in the side deck to out it. You could even consider main deck cards, but I would just side it. Yeah, it's only for Dragoon. Otherwise, I would just like bump it off Golden Land to put it in the graveyard and then banish. Then 2 Draco cards. I play 1 of the Return and 3 of the Apocalypse. I think this card is pretty good because it just like halves the attack and stops OTKing. I'm not sure. I want to play 2 of those because I found myself in a situation where you just recycle Eldlich cards. You can still special summon not zombie monsters, and then this one puts you into an advantage like every round and stops OTKing, because this deck is really good at putting decks to simplified game state. So it's like I draw 1, you draw 1, I make 1 card, you make 1 card, and if you then have a lot of cards who can like put you to a +1 advantage every turn, you outgrind your enemy. So I would consider like playing 2/2. But yeah, it's up to you. I mean, this card's really good, so this one is still a little bit better than this one, but this one's better in grind gaming. So yeah, I have to try it. I would try 2/2 and then I will see. Maybe I will play 2 and 3. It's also fine. And then I'd play just traps to around like to round up the trap lineup for both decks, because like I said, they aren't really doing much themselves, so you need cards to supplement them. Skill Drain, best card against like literally everything except Virtual Worlds. Then 3 Strike and 3 Torrential Tribute. I would play this one at 3 for sure. This one like won me so many games. This card is pretty good, so I would still play it. Maybe I would cut it to 2 and play something else. But like I said, I want to cut 3 Tactics Talents. Maybe I will cut Called by the Grave, and then I will play something like I would like to play Ice Dragon's Prison, but I don't have it. So maybe I will play Dogmatica Punishment, because your extra deck is pretty much free. You have to play Pot of Extravagance, so your extra deck is like literally free. So I played 2 Vampire Sucker because I only have to. It's just for your Eldlich paste. You can make like Eldlich to get it in the graveyard with the normal monster, with your trap, and then you could special summon something from the enemy graveyard. It gets to zombie, and then you draw 1 card, so you get a +1 advantage in like your hand, and you special summon something which you can run over, like for example an Ash or any card that has like 0 or 200 attack or something. So you don't really, you don't really care. Then I play, this is like the last card, I think. Yeah, it's the last card you really use out of your extra deck, or which you can use. The rest are just super poly targets for side. I would have played 2 of this if I had to, because this card is really good at ending games. I just often like made 6,000 damage and had 2 Eldlich, and yeah, one time I had won me a game. I special summoned it and made 2k damage. But the other times I just banished it off my Extravagance. And those 3 like got banished by Extravagance, I think like 5 or 6 times in the first 6 card banish. So it was pretty hard for me, but it was okay. And then I played Nova for the Dogmatica package. I just got to know yesterday that like only 1 person at our locals plays Dogmatica, so it's like doesn't really matter, but I still played it for that reason. And then I played 2 Entis just for the same reason. If I happen to banish something, I just at least have something. And then just super poly targets. We have 3 Shadol players, so I played 1 Winder, 1 Muddragon of the Swamp, 1 Formira, the, how is it called? You know this card, zombie fusion monster. And then 2 Draco Stapelia, also for the Shadol matchup, but yeah. And then 3 Starving Venom, because it's the best super poly target right now. Yeah, that's it for the extra deck, just tokens. And then side deck, this was the most, or the hardest choice to play. I wasn't really sure what to play, so I played 3 Ash because it's a generic hand trap and you can just side out card free mice. Then 1 Pranker Drops because it's like the best side deck card by itself. I played 1 Feather Duster and 3 Lightning Storm. If you can't afford Lightning Storm, I would just play like Raigeki or Darkhold, because monster removal is right now monster removal is really good. I wanted to have something against back row, but even then your true Draco cards really do the job, so you can just swap out something like 1 to Raigeki and maybe Twin Twister or Cosmic Cyclones or 2 Darkhold and just leave it at Harpy's Feather Dust. That's also fine, so you don't really have to play it. I just played it because I had it here, but I only landed, so it's not mine. And then I played 3 Super Poly. I thought this card would be really amazing. I mean, it is really good against meta. So for example, against VFD, or even if it's only virtual world, you can just take 1 VFD for a dark monster and something from you to make to make something. You can play it like against a lot of decks. Dytron I wouldn't play it against because I don't think I have an actual target for it. I think they have same attribute in Mud Dragon, but you would have to play at least 3 of those. I had only 1, so I only played 1. I would have played like 3 Starving Venom, 3 Mud Dragon, and maybe 2 of those. And if I know that I only have like 8 spots, then I would fight this against Drytron. And then for like last cards for going first, 3 Barrier, which was really good guess, and I played against Draco Eldlich, and it won me a game. And this one for spells. Even though you play a lot of spells, you can just tribute over it, or you can just tribute it from the Eldlich from grave if you have to, or if you need to use your spells. Otherwise it's like a complete blowout against Prankets, against Cyber Dragons for example too. So it's really good. Like I said, it's only like the first version of it. It did well. I only lost because I played wrong. We only played 4 rounds yesterday, so I won 2 rounds, I drawed once, and I lost once. The one I lost, I should have won. It was, like I said, I played wrongly. The one I drawed was because of time. I don't know, we couldn't do game 3, so I'm not sure how it worked. It was Draco Eldlich, so 2 grind decks. You can tell me what you think of this deck profile. Like I said, I would cut a lot 3 talents and try to get like to 42, 43 cards, and maybe I would change the ratio a bit of the Draco cards, and I would like to play some more traps in the main deck which do something by themselves. But I have to think about how I will accomplish that. For my matchups, I don't know if I will put like a little screen recap of my stream yesterday underneath this, but I will tell you anyways. First round I played against Dragonmates. We had a 38.5 minutes round 1, which I won. Luckily I had like 200 life points left, and then I won, and we couldn't play like round 2. So this one was like a win with 1-0. It was really hard because they grind really well. He had like the best setup possible. Luckily he didn't drew a second Dragonmate in the hand or for draws, so he had only to play with 1 Chambermate, the one that searches. I mean, it's a really good normal sum, so either way he grinded really well. He had all 3 of his fusion monsters out. Like I popped it every round, and he special summoned it back every round. It was a really tough game, I have to say, but after a while I grinded him, and then I just put my board to a 2-card advantage or something, and he couldn't handle it because he had like only the battle phase effect. I skipped my battle phase for like 4 turns in a row, just to have his effects, or that he can't activate his effects, and I just tried to put advantage on board, and this won me a game. Like the 4 times skipping battle phase was really close. Like I said, I had only 200 life points left, but it worked out in the end, so I won against Dragonmate. Then I played against the new War Rocks or something like that, the new warrior theme. 2-0 win. The first round he like drew insane. but I still managed to win. It was I would not say close. I had like 3k life points, but he like got me a lot of damage. But after that I grinded him out. I just banished all my Eldlich cards from my graveyard, and then I just put an advantage on board. He couldn't out it. Then I played against Draco Eldlich. We drawed that one. He won game 1 because he had a decent board. He had not everything like he could have. If he had everything, he would have at least an Ash in the hand for more. But he had Trident, he had Eldlich set up with Conquistador and Haquero, and he had the Skullmeister in hand and one card, I think a second tanky, so which did nothing. But still, he managed to outgrind me. It was a really, really long game 1, like 30 minutes. And then the second game was a little bit faster. I started, he normal summoned Ram, I flipped D-Barrier, and he then had like his whole Eldlich board, so he managed like to get rid of my stuff, but he couldn't really put negations on board except of Conquistador, so he had one Conquistador and 2 Skullmeister in hand, which I had to face, which was kind of hard, I have to say, because he just he negated Eldlich cards in the graveyard. So he stopped my grind game in this way, because in the end phase he like stopped my Eldlich cards from floating. But with my 2 Draco cards, I happened to manage to draw like 4 cards. Like I had Pot of Extravagance and then 2 draws from the Heritage. So with my 2 Draco cards, I won that game, but then it was like time. We had only 30 seconds or 20 seconds left on the clock when we would have started round 3. So we said like draw. And then in the last round, I played against Lurlusk, how's it called? Lurlusk with Tri-Brigades. I lost that one in time. I should have won it. But I just lost it because I played wrongly. I thought the only mistake I made, I outgrinded him. I happened to turn down his board like to 0 cards. He had like a lot of cards in the graveyard, but nothing he could use except like if he had a Tri-Brigade in hand. He had only 2 Tri-Brigades in the deck left, and he had 1 card in hand. And then I had Conquistador, I had 1 True Draco trap set up with, so I had like Dynamite and Maiden. So he activated the first effect, I made Dynamite, activate trap, and then Maiden, search a monster. So I had like 1 interruption in this form. But sadly he drew like, I'm not sure, he drew Lurus cards with special summoning, search something, and he got like 4 or 5 cards. The thing was, on the start of the turn, I activated Extravagance and I drew Torrential Tribute, and I thought I set it, but it was in my hand. I just would have need to set the card, and then after a while just activated it, so he had no board left, and then I could he had only 3,300 life points left. I would have added an Eldlich in grave, and I would just special summon it and attack and win. But I forgot to set it, and this was the reason I lost, because then he just made the Link 4 from he had outed my 2 cards with the Lureless cards. Then he had the Tri-Brigade left, who he special summoned. Then he made like the Link 4 Tri-Brigade who can banish something on some. Then he managed to banish my Eldlich. I couldn't use my cards really well anymore, and then he destroyed my 2 monsters and shuffled them back with Called by the Grave, and because he drew this one of Ferret, and with the Link 3 Feather Beast monster, and don't know what it's called, Jesse Cottonplate him, who can shuffle 1 monster back in the 1 card in the graveyard back into the deck. And if the enemy has no monsters in the graveyard, you can just make this card gain 2,400 attack, and he managed to kill me with that one. If I would just have set Torrential Tribute, I wouldn't have lost my my Eldlich, and I would have won. It was my mistake. I just couldn't do anything. So, or I could have done anything, but then it would be a 3 0-1, so it would be like first or second place. It's fine, it was my fault. I mean, this deck works great. I just have to to build it a little bit better or a little bit more consistent. Yeah, otherwise it worked really well. It was fun to play, something new. So try it yourself out, or try it out yourself. And then yeah, if you liked it, give it a like. If you disliked it, I think this button works well too. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next time.